So, J. Ruud, what lovable book are we talking about today?
Well, Stacey Margaret Jones, I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Beta off 2.
I have no clue.
We have one clue.
True. Welcome to Between the Covers, the weekly podcast in which author J. Ruud shares one book from his carefully cultivated list of the 100 most lovable novels in the English language. And he makes a case for one each week, and I, author Stacey Margaret Jones, talk to him about it. But first, I'm humiliated by having to guess the book and not knowing it. All right. So have I read this book? I always ask this.
I know that you have not.
Oh, okay. So I have plausible deniability.
Yep.
Hint number 2, please.
Hint number 2, The Fall of Constantinople, 1453.
This is Bupkis.
Hint number 3, An owl named Trusty Friend.
I feel like maybe I don't want to read this book. What is it?
This book is Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Yep, I have not read it, and there might.
By Anthony Doerr.
Oh, that is not who I thought wrote that book. Oh, he wrote the book we just read.
He did indeed.
Which I did enjoy.
Right, All the Light We Cannot See.
Awesome.
Well,
okay.
Interesting.
Interesting.
This may be my most controversial item on my list because everyone would say, why didn't you put All the Light We Cannot See on the list?
Well, because it's J. Ruud's lovable books, not yours.
That is true. But I mean, we read All the Light We Cannot See. Mm-hmm. It was an awesome book.
It was lovely.
Everybody who reads that book loves it.
Well, and everybody read that book when it came out because it was everywhere and everybody was talking about it. And it passed me by at the time. So,
but in comparing the two in my own head, I just thought the Cloud Cuckoo Land was, for me, a more lovable book.
Well, but that's interesting because the way you're positioning it, it's as if you had to put a book by him on the list.
Well, I didn't have to.
That's what I mean. Like, I mean, do you see what I'm saying? No,
I
it's
see
like
what you're
I
saying.
compared the two and chose that one by him, like because I wanted to put a book by him on the list.
Well, what happened was that when I read Cloud Cuckoo Land, I had not yet read All the Light We Cannot See. Cloud Cuckoo Land immediately was a book that I absolutely loved and thought it had to go on this list. But then I thought, well, let's see if this other book
Everybody loves it.
that everybody loves is one that I would love more than this one. But
all right. Well, we're getting off track a little, so let's get back to our format. When did this Cloud Cuckoo Land come out, and how long is it?
It came out in September of 2021.
Okay. And how long is it?
It's 640 pages.
Okay, so it's a commitment, but not a doorstop.
Well, hopefully not.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Who else likes this book?
Well, it's so recent that, it's one of those that hasn't had time to make very many lists. However, it was a finalist for the National Book Award in 2021. Well,
that's a big list. I mean, that's an important list.
Yeah. It won the 2022 Grand Prix de Littérature Américaine, which is awarded to the best American novel translated into French that year.
Okay. So it's a French Literature Award for a book in translation.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has appeared on 3 very recent lists of 21st century favorites. It's listed among the top 100 books of the 21st century compiled by This House of Books. Mm-hmm. It was 59th on 100 Best Books of the 21st Century from the Book Enthusiast Substack. Mm-hmm. And it came in as number 32 on the New York Times. Readers pick their 100 best books of the 21st century.
Oh.
So it's not just an idiosyncratic choice.
I'm curious about that list. I guess we can talk about it offline, as they say. So that's the 100 best books, not novels, 100 best books of the 21st century so
The
far.
name of it is Best Books of the 21st Century.
Because we are watching through the list of the 100 best movies of the 21st century so far. So I'd be very interested in that list. You'll have to share that with me.
I will.
Okay. So, I mean, it's new, but I mean, new books do have obviously opportunities to make their mark with prizes and lists like this.
Sure.
And another list that I look at every year is the New York Times has a list of the 10 best books of the year every year. I look at that for myself, but also for gift ideas for other people, because I'll think, well, if this is a really good book and I know somebody, you know, this is, I guess, a Christmas-ish episode. This is an acclaimed book, and I know somebody who is interested in this topic, then this makes a good book to give, you know, as a gift this year. So, all right. Well, I'm very curious about what this is about, because I have heard of it, but as I've just shared, I'm quite ignorant of it because I thought it was by somebody else entirely. What is the down and dirty summary, and can you earn the harps of glory, or will you be destroyed by the trombone of despair?
Well, as you might have guessed from the clues, this is a wide-ranging novel, and it alternates between a contemporary thriller, a historical novel, and speculative science fiction. Oof. And it takes readers from 15th century Constantinople to 20th and then 21st century America, and then to 22nd century generational space arc, trillions of miles from the Earth. And one thing that unites these three timelines is the fact that each of them boasts a significant library that serves as a place of comfort for the characters.
Oh, interesting.
Libraries and their function as repositories of human memory and experience are one of the things that the novel celebrates.
Harps of glory, and not just because you talked about libraries.
Well, the book.
Well, that was interesting because, thank you for clarifying that, because when you were talking about it at first, I was like, this feels kind of purposefully destabilizing, you know, of the reader. And while some people may love that experience, but obviously I would hope there would be a unifying theme, and obviously it's the library, and which is interesting because libraries in the United States and librarians are under some attack right now.
Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting book for our times. Maybe he was responding to that. So did you read this when it came out?
Yeah. Shortly thereafter.
Okay. Did I give it to you?
No, I listened to it, actually.
Oh, okay.
So this is the follow-up novel to All the Light We Cannot See, which won the 2015 Pulitzer Prize.
Well, and I would say All the Light We Cannot See seems more accessible than...
I don't know if that's really true.
So he must be a really, really deft writer. Based on your down and dirty summary, it sounds challenging.
Well, it is, but I didn't have trouble... following it or anything.
And you listened. You didn't even read it. So, that's interesting.
In a way, it's written in a format that I think is reminiscent of All the Light We Cannot See. Mm-hmm. So All the Light We Cannot See alternates between Marie-Laure, the blind girl in Saint Malo, and Werner, the German boy.
It definitely had a kind of postmodernist structure because it was various viewpoints.
Yeah.
And also disrupting time because it was going back and forth.
Yeah.
And I also found it a little disorienting. When we first started it, I was like, why do people like this? Because it had all these little glimpses and you couldn't get oriented.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening?
If you got used to that in All the Light We Cannot See, you'll be less disoriented when you start reading this. But, you go back and forth there between
Right.
mostly the two of them, but sometimes there's that German officer that's looking for
the hunter.
jewel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes he comes in. So there's kind of three main characters that you kind of alternate among, and then everything comes together in the end. And in this, it's more complicated. It's because the three timelines that you've got are well separated. 15th century, late 20th century, then early 21st century, then 22nd century.
Yeah.
On this, what's really sort of a space arc.
Right.
It's a multi-generational space arc. It's trillions of miles from the Earth when it starts because they've been traveling for 65 years.
I don't love space.
Well,
I mean, part of the subtext of every episode is me, if I haven't read the novel, deciding if I'm interested in reading the novel. So here I am. You can see it live. It's happening in front of you. You'll say something that pulls me in, and then you say something that repels me.
Well,
and the space is a little bit.
It's science fiction, that part, but not with a whole lot of technical stuff.
Right.
The main character in those parts is a girl by the name of.
And you mean, when you say girl, you mean a child, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't do this, but it just really irritates me that people refer to grown women as girls all the time.
No, this is an actual girl.
Okay.
Named Constance, and she's a passenger on board this starship called Argos. They're 65 years into a multi-generational quest. So she was born on the spaceship, which her parents joined when they were like her age or so. Mm-hmm. And the quest is aimed at establishing a new home for the human race, fleeing their devastated home planet of Earth for a new start on a distant planet called Beta Off 2.
Okay.
They tell you exactly how far it is from the Earth in the book. I can't remember exactly, but it's going to take another probably 100 years or so to get there. Oh. So she's of a generation that's a transitional generation. That's basically supposed to get them to this place.
So they're like wandering in the desert, so to speak.
Yeah.
They may not, they have no memory of a homeland, and they have no experience of the new colony.
Yeah.
Oh.
What they have is an AI robot, sort of omniscient being that's in control, whose name is Sybil, who's been programmed to keep everything together and to tell people what to do and when to do it. But through Sybil, Constance can enter this virtual library, which contains the accumulated knowledge and experience of the whole human race. It's a library that spans all of human history. And she becomes acquainted with an obscure old text called Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Oh.
And that's what links all of these together, is that in each one, there's a library that has a copy of Cloud Cuckoo Land.
When is Cloud Cuckoo Land written?
It's a 2nd century comic tale.
Common Era? 2nd century Common Era?
Yeah. By the ancient Greek author Antonius Diogenes.
Is this fictional?
There was an Antonius Diogenes who wrote a romance called The Wanders Beyond Thule. Doerr makes up this other...
Because The Wanders Beyond Thule sounds made up.
That one's actual. Cloud Cuckoo Land is a story that he made up.
Yeah.
So the text of The Wonders Beyond Thule no longer exists. But the descriptions of it that we find show that it's a multi-level narrative that kind of mirrors the complexity of Doerr's own book.
It's funny because it sounds like, I mean, I'm always thinking about how writers work, right? And it sounds like he read about it and then he was like, oh, I'm going to be in conversation with this book I can't read.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Well, he makes up the other book that
Right.
Diogenes wrote.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like he's in conversation with this author
Yeah.
and he can't read his book.
Yeah.
But he knows about him.
So essentially, he writes the book at the beginning of every section as he moves from one time period to another and then goes back. But at the beginning of every section, there's a passage from Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Yeah.
And it's a story about this dull-witted shepherd named Ethon, who's heard of this paradisal city in the sky that's peopled by birds. And he imagines it's got to be better than the world that we live in. But to get into that paradise, he has to become a bird himself because human beings are notorious for ruining everything that they get involved in.
Right.
So he has to enter as a bird. So he's transformed. He finds somebody who can transform him, and he's transformed into a donkey instead of a bird. And then the donkey gets transformed into a fish, and he has worse hardships than he ever had as a shepherd. And finally, he becomes a bird and makes it to Cloud Cuckoo Land, and it turns out it's really not that great of a place.
That reminds me of that Chinese novelist.
Yeah.
Where he goes, the persona.
Life and death are wearing me out.
Yeah, where he becomes various animals and in communist China.
Yeah.
And even for animals, the government authority is felt. Yeah, how interesting. Well,
I think what you find in his story is a kind of reflection of what the main protagonists of the novel feel. Constance in the spaceship is really going into a kind of Cloud Cuckoo Land, a place that's going to be better than they left.
yeah.
And has put her faith into that.
Well, we watched that movie recently, Interstellar, where he doesn't age as fast as the people on Earth.
Yeah.
He has a different experience of time. Like he misses his daughter's whole life almost because he's trying to rescue the planet, right? That
Yeah.
they killed. So it's interesting because I think that's a theme people keep coming back to because beyond, the billionaires' kind of ego projects, of space exploration, it's an literally existential issue. Where will we live? Like how will our species survive? Because we're destroying ourselves.
Yeah.
We're destroying we're not going to destroy the earth. The earth is going to continue. We're destroying our habitat. And unfortunately, many animals who have no say in the matter.
Yeah.
Species.
Yeah.
And so that's it's just interesting to me how a lot of great works come from trying to answer this question or grapple with this existential challenge.
Yeah. So there are two protagonists in the 15th century part of the novel. There's a poor young seamstress named Anna who finds that she can make good money by raiding an abandoned monastery library for old manuscripts. That she sells them to a group of Italian scholars who are trying to find ancient Greek manuscripts that they can take back to Italy before the inevitable fall of Constantinople.
All right.
And to them, the old manuscripts are great treasures. I have a quotation.
But books, like people, die. They die in fires or floods or in the mouths of worms or at the whims of tyrants. If they are not safeguarded, they go out of the world. And when a book goes out of the world, the memory dies a second death.
So,
oh my God. Wow.
So Anna, at first to her, this is a way to make money. But she also learns how to read from this guy who doesn't want to teach her because she's not a boy. But she kind of convinces him to. And so she starts to look into some of the manuscripts. And the other protagonist of that part of the book is an Ottoman subject from Bulgaria named Omer. He's a young village boy who's got a cleft palate and whose only friends are a pair of oxen that he's named Moonlight and Tree. And he has them from the time they're calves and raises them. And he and both oxen are conscripted into the Sultan's army. And they help to drag this new wall-smashing cannon that's going to pummel those city walls of Byzantium, Constantinople. And Anna meets Omer during the siege. The city has already fallen, and she's fleeing the sack of the city. And she's carrying the manuscript that she's gotten from this library, the manuscript of Cloud Cuckoo Land. That's how it survives.
Oh.
And she goes with Omer, and ultimately they get together. So those are the two protagonists in that part of the story. In contemporary Idaho, there's a local public library where we meet this octogenarian named Zeno Ninus. And he's directing a rehearsal of a play. It's a children's play that he's written.
So, and when you say contemporary, you mean when the book came out?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is basically 2021.
Okay. That's okay.
He's directing this rehearsal of a children's play. It's a translation and dramatization of his own that he's written of an obscure romance by a certain Antonius Diogenes. So the play is Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Right.
But the rehearsal is interrupted by a young militant bomb-carrying eco-terrorist named Seymour Stuhlman. And we learn more about the backstories of both of those two as the book goes on. Zeno was a lonely kid whose father died in World War II. He found comfort in the local library among the tales of the mythic past, especially Odysseus. He loved. And later he's a prisoner of war in Korea, where he forms a close friendship with a fellow prisoner who's a classic scholar named Rex, who teaches him to translate Greek. And he has an unrequited passion for Rex, which remains unspoken in the 1950s. But he has developed a passion for translating ancient Greek. And it finds fruit in Zeno's later life when he devotes himself to translate this newly recovered manuscript of Diogenes' text. So the quotation is a good one. It's what's going through his mind kind of as he's trying to translate this.
Of all the mad things we humans do, Rex once told him, there might be nothing more humbling or more noble than trying to translate the dead languages. We don't know how the old Greeks sounded when they spoke. We can scarcely map their words onto ours. From the very start, we're doomed to fail. But in the attempt, Rex said, in trying to drag something across the river from the murk of history into our time, into our language, that was, he said, the best kind of fool's errand. Zeno sharpens his pencil and tries again.
The boy Seymour, the bomber, who's the other protagonist of this part of the novel, was another misfit, probably perhaps on the spectrum, but misunderstood. He doesn't have any friends, but he forms a close relationship with an owl.
As one does.
In a wooded area near his home. And he calls the owl trusty friend.
That's your clue.
Yeah. And there's a developer who destroys the woods. Trusty friend disappears. He never sees him again.
Oh, God.
And
so painful.
He becomes a kind of easy target, I guess, for radical online terrorist group that he joins. And they convince him to bomb. There's a bank that's next door to the library. and he knows if he puts the bomb on the wall that's closest to the bank, it'll destroy the bank. But there wasn't supposed to be anybody in the library because it's nighttime. But here's Zeno with all these kids directing the play.
Right.
And Seymour ends up shooting this, I think it's the custodian of the library. And Zeno goes to see what's going on. And, here's the guy with the bomb. He talks to him, gets to know him some, and why he's doing what he's doing. But the place has gotten surrounded by police.
Mm-hmm.
They've contacted the police. But Seymour wants to let this bomb go. Mm-hmm. And the only person who can do anything is Zeno.
Mm-hmm.
So he makes a decision. Yeah.
Okay. He should have risked more. It has taken him his whole life to accept himself, and he is surprised to understand that now he does not long for one more year, one more month. 86 years has been enough. In a life, you accumulate so many memories, your brain constantly winnowing through them, weighing consequence, burying pain. But somehow, by the time you're this age, you still end up dragging a monumental sack of memories behind you, a burden as heavy as a continent. And eventually, it becomes time to take them out of the world.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's so fascinating. That's all we ever talk about is what's lost, when someone dies and their memories, you hear all the time, talk to your older relatives, get their story, and this is a different take on that. Like, it's heavy, it's taxing, and sometimes it's time for them to go.
No.
How fascinating.
And then the fifth protagonist is Constance on the way to Beta off too.
That's really an interesting story to me because of just kind of the idea that she's floating between civilizations, kind of literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
But she's a vessel of memory, right?
Yeah. Well, the library on the ship is really a vessel of memory. It's a vessel of the entire memory of the whole human race.
Right.
And she can go there and explore things,
right,
which she decides is what she really wants to do.
Yeah.
And there's a special atlas that you can actually enter and kind of walk down the street of whatever country you're looking at. That's
like those YouTube videos where you can walk through cities
yeah.
on the 4K walks, Prague and Paris and London.
Yeah. And she is able to go back and find where her father was when he decided to go on this trip to join the group that was going to be on this spaceship. He lived kind of out in the sticks in Australia, and she goes there to see what his house was like, and there's a book on like his nightstand that's a printed copy of Cloud Cuckoo Land, translated by Zeno Ninnis.
Wow.
So, and what you find out as the book goes on is that Seymour, who ended up in prison for life, basically, has, as a prisoner, a job that he's been given to do is help this major corporation that's putting this pilgrimage together to help them build their atlas. So he's the one who's been creating this thing that she's been going into.
Right. Well, it does kind of remind you of Interstellar because there's all this loops.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, that was him, but he wasn't alive. I mean, not that, but like, oh, that was him before he left.
Yeah.
He's coming back, but he hasn't left yet. Those kinds of loops.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And what hooks everything together is the library.
Right.
And the books the one book that everybody in this has been familiar with. And it's only survived because Anna took it out of the library in Constantinople. Zeno found it and translated it so that people would understand it now. And it's discovered again by Constance.
Right.
So there's that. There's this connection of books that live, and this reminder of how many books there have been that we've lost. Even this library on the Argos, it doesn't have all of human history. It has all of human history that still remains, that hasn't been lost.
Right.
There's a great quotation. You read that one about the books dying like people.
Yeah.
The scholars who are there to buy the manuscripts remark at one point that we know at least 1,000 classical Greek plays were written and performed in the Greek theaters of the 5th century BC. You know how many we have left? 32.
Yeah.
So one of the themes that's repeated in the novel are the importance of and the value of the fantastic stories that have been kept alive by libraries.
I was going to say it's how vital libraries are to our understanding of our own selves and our own existence.
Yeah. Well, it's about the value of the books that do that and the importance of libraries who preserve those.
Yeah.
There's also in the novel this expression of the importance of human beings' tenuous relationship with our fragile world.
Yeah. You mean the physical?
Yeah.
Our environment?
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously they're going to find somewhere else because they've jacked it up.
Yeah. But you've got Omir, who has this loving relationship with his oxen, Moonlight and Tree.
That's beautiful.
There's Seymour's love for his cherished owl, trusty friend. Constance has this interest in her father's in-space gardening. He's got these seeds that he's brought from Earth to hopefully replenish and restart.
Well, one of the things, I'm obsessed with Svalbard.
Yeah.
And that's where they have, I think, the global seed library is on Svalbard. So that if we need to restart anything, the seeds are protected on Svalbard.
Yeah.
Where I want to live.
Yeah.
I would love to go to Svalbard.
In the novel, they're protected on the Argos.
Yes.
So the novel eschews the destructive steps that ruin the environment.
Right. It sounds like it's also making the point, like I mentioned earlier, that animal species are affected by our choices and have no agency.
Yeah.
Right? Like trusty friend just doing his owl thing, suddenly his habitat goes away.
Yeah.
So
another theme of the novel that you see throughout is this idea that counting on a utopia like Cloud Cuckoo Land or like the great city of Constantinople lasting forever or Beta Off 2.
Right.
Or Seymour's eco-terrorist group in cyberspace. That in the long run, counting on those things are cuckoo. They are Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Right, which
just the only way to save the world is to work at it here and now.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have, like I said, we have these billionaires who are like, I'm going to get us to space so we can have, I'm like, you have the means and the influence to solve the problems we have here.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we could solve these. We could stop being extractivist. We could, curb consumerism, right? But instead, you just want to be the savior of humanity because you're going to build a rocket when you could do something that is maybe harder but more meaningful by helping us get on a different path.
Yeah.
instead of just advancing the same systems that are going to make finding somewhere else to live mandatory.
One of the Italian
Here
scholars.
ends my TED Talk. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
One of the Italian scholars tells Anna, the things that look fixed in the world, child, mountains, wealth, empires, their permanence is only an illusion. Mm-hmm. We believe they will last, but that is only because of the brevity of our own lives. From the perspective of God, cities like this, like Constantinople, come and go like anthills.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting since Constantinople is called something else now.
That's right. So it's about the connections between human beings over centuries. It's about...
Because it sounds like it's about what connects us is what makes us fundamentally human and not something else, right?
Yeah.
Our lived values as human beings.
Yeah.
Not just the stated values, but the way we live and what we spend our resources on as people.
Yeah. And the connection that writing has given us and that libraries help to facilitate. The loss of memory when there's a loss of a book. But it's about hope.
Right.
And it's about resiliency. That's why it's a lovable book.
Well, it sounds lovable. What do you think people might not love about it?
Well, your initial reaction, I guess, suggested what?
Space.
Well, it's not only
Not
space,
only space.
but just the complexity of it. That, could put people off, especially maybe at the beginning, as you were saying at the beginning of All the Light We Cannot See. We're kind of put off.
I was disoriented, and I was like, "What is this all going to be like this?" But then I realized there's no way this novel would have been half as popular as it was if it was all like this. People do not like this. So I hung in. Anything else? Just you think that people might not like about it? It sounds like if you can kind of roll with that, the payoff is pretty huge.
Yeah, it really is. Mm-hmm. And it's got, actually, each of the three parts has its own kind of surprising conclusion.
Oh, that's fun.
The biggest surprise is the one that comes with Constance and the Argos. Okay.
All right. Well, where are you going to rank this bad boy?
I'm putting this at number 38.
Okay. Kind of right in the middle, huh?
Yeah. It's right after Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, that's interesting. Because it is a kind of through the looking glass.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And right before Waiting for the Barbarians.
Well, that's an interesting trio there. You could definitely make a case that they could travel together.
Yeah.
I mean, you could read them around each other and be thinking of the other books while you're reading because of the way they would be.
They could be
their ideas
in conversation with each other.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah. So is it time now for Chaos Reader?
Yes, it is time for Chaos Reader. So I've had some trouble reading because I've had some trouble reading. But also, we are in a community theater musical right now of A Christmas Carol, and I wanted to talk a little bit about, I've read A Christmas Carol. It's been a long time since I've actually read it. I've read it, I've seen various movies based on it. There's tons. I mean, Western culture loves A Christmas Carol.
Well,
I guess it's because we love a redemption story. And so it's a musical, and it's almost entirely sung through. And
it's Alan Menken, the guy who writes the Disney musicals.
Yeah, I mean, the music is fabulous. But as I talk about this, we have not yet opened. But when this comes out, we will have completed our run. So in the space-time continuum, if you're listening to this, you've missed it. But it's been really interesting to me because, kind of seeing how the music interprets the text, right? And what the lyricist and the composer pull out of the text to highlight and focus on has been really interesting. And I'm Mrs. Fezziwig, so I'm hosting a big party and we have a big dance number. And then Ghost of Christmas Present has abundance and charity.
Yeah.
And that's a big kind of Radio City style tap, number. And so the music is really interesting. All the musical numbers are really fascinating. But I think it was something that you said to me about one of the early numbers. It's Jolly Good Time, where Scrooge kind of enters the scene and shows everybody what he thinks of Christmas, and they're appalled by it. But they have these lines where they say, and this is what you said, where they say, "Thank the Lord our profits have been huge, and thank the Lord we're not a bit like Scrooge." And it's just, after you told me that you think it's kind of satirical, or...
I think that those people in the play are presented satirically, I think. And I think the audience is supposed to identify with the people on the street.
Sure, because we like to have Scrooge to judge.
Yeah.
But those people, I mean, their privilege is massive, and they have no self-awareness. Like, thank the Lord, our profits have been huge, and that we're not a bit like Scrooge. Like, we can take a day off.
Well, and also...
But it's partly because of Scrooge, or because of people like him. And then they also say, giving the poor a coin or two is what we wealthy people do. And
which makes them not a bit like Scrooge, because on Christmas Eve, and apparently only on Christmas Eve, they will give a coin.
Or two.
To a poor person.
But the rest of the year, they're really grateful for their profits.
Yeah.
And I was really struck by this because I hadn't really thought about it. And I did kind of think that was greasy to say, like, this is so great that we do this. And then when you commented that it's not really kind to the townspeople either, I kind of keyed into that. And I don't, I feel like when I'm on stage, I'm trying to kind of portray, I'm amazing. I'm not like him, but also I'm rich.
Yeah.
And, that's gradations, right? Like, that's really given me some pause. And it's also just making me think about how a work of literature just lives forever. I mean, or has lived on in the context of Cloud Cuckoo Land. Like, even if that manuscript disappeared forever, we have all these iterations of it, right? Because it's this redemption story by somebody who's shown the consequences of his actions before he's actually completely consequenced. He has some, right? He's lost his young love, right? But he has time to live in the way that humans are meant to live, which is socially, right? We are social animals. We die alone.
Yeah.
Literally. And like I think the past Surgeon General said that one of the best predictors of long life was the number of friends you have at age 50. And I mean, that shows you that biologically we need other people, right? We have to live in community, but we can do that. We can live in community and still be committing kind of moral atrocity because of the way that we think of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And so it's really been interesting to be in the play and the musical and singing the lyrics and seeing, the surface of it. It kind of reminds me of Frost's The Road Not Taken, where you have the kind of hallmark gloss of the poem where everybody kind of accepts the speaker's view, but then when you only have to look at it like for a couple of minutes closely and realize that the poet is making fun of the speaker, right? Like, it was never going to be anything different, right? It's just the speaker telling himself that all these things would have made a difference if he had gone this different way. But actually, the ways weren't even that different. And the one was not less traversed than the other. He just tells himself this to romanticize his choices. Yeah. And to me, I think it has opened up a kind of level of this story where I think I was glossing it. And now I can see it in a new way, partly because of the musical and partly because of just your comment, which really kind of lit up my mind and made me think differently about how I act on stage.
Yeah.
So it's been really
typically
interesting.
you think of it as just a story about one man who needs reform.
Right.
And
because he cares only about his gold.
Yeah. But as you said, there's gradations. He may be the
worst
most
of it,
or the greediest, but that doesn't mean that other people aren't greedy.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they don't need to reform themselves.
Right. So it's been really interesting because it isn't just, I mean, there's the Dickens story and then the musical in conversation with it that pulls this out, right? And these people say, well, thank the Lord, I'm nothing like him, right?
Yeah.
Except I'm more like him than I am like Tiny Tim, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if I have to put myself on a scale, where am I on the scale?
Yeah.
And so it's been a really interesting way to revisit a work of literature that felt kind of maybe tired even because it's so ubiquitous, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
And partly because we think we know it. But as I was saying about Frost, I used to tell my poetry students, Frost is not a tame poet. If you are interpreting this in a kind of, banal, kind of feel-good way, you probably have missed the point.
Yeah.
Right? He is meaning to unsettle you, not allow you to point fingers at others, right?
Yeah.
And that, I think, is really what's happening here, is that we are using this work of literature to comfort ourselves instead of to be unsettled. And I think my experience in the musical has helped me understand the work of literature even better. So,
well, this is the fourth production of Christmas Carol that I've been in.
Yeah, that's right.
And everyone has been different. Everyone's a
Right.
different script. And so there's something different that comes out that the creator of the play have taken out of Dickens' own story.
Yeah.
And so they're all in conversation with each other as well as the original.
But and also
novella.
I think that speaks to the literary quality of the original, because it means that it's timelessly relevant, that it's endlessly mined. And it goes back to this idea that I think it was a fill-in priest we had at St. Peter's who was talking about Christianity, and that it wasn't that it was unknowable. It was that it was infinitely knowable. So it means that it isn't that you can't understand it. It's that you can keep understanding it more forever. Those are very different things. And I think that's what makes something literary, is that it keeps being understandable in a new way. And so for me, this was kind of that. So,
All right. Then.
All right. Well, we're getting down to the end of our time, and we'd like to wish you very happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. And we hope that you are safe and warm and that you have a very good book to read. And I think with that, we will say we'll see you next week.
Between the covers.